Marshall here with this week's Sanity Check. This week I want to talk about the concept of flow versus control. Now this is an idea that's going to sound fairly foreign to most of you, unless you've been doing work in like deep spiritual metaphysics, shamanism, things like that. So when I was training as in shamanism, I wouldn't claim myself to be a shaman, but when I was in my shamanic apprenticeship, this was a concept that came up over and over and over. And it was really about helping me understand what space meant in life. So a lot of times what we struggle with are two things: attachment and resistance. Now, depending on what angle and how you're playing it, they're both resistance, and are both a result of trying to control something that's naturally in our powerless arena. It's something we don't have natural power over, in other words. So in my, when I was going through my training, this concept had to be reinforced over and over and over. And what I started to find is that a lot of my emotional pain, a lot of my limitations and my judgments about myself and others were contained within resistance and attachment and an effort to control. And all my fear was found in flow. So when I let things go, I let things do what they're going to do, that's when my fear, my abandonment, anxiety, and all that skyrocketed. And so I started to play with how flow worked for me. And through my healing, through work with like the closure technique and with some other shamanic processes, and then through some talk therapy, this concept of flow actually became something that worked for me. I started to see that how the trials and the difficulties that came up in relationships, or the shifts that happened when I made choices, were actually working for me, because they revealed what was really going on in the experience. They created an honest or genuine experience of what was happening. So then I could make better decisions about what to do in response to that circumstance or that person or that relationship. So flow is not your enemy. Flow works for you, and it helps you accomplish more genuine outcomes for yourself. Flow always puts you on a path towards your happiness. And it's one of the things I discovered over years of practicing this, is that if I trusted flow, I would get to a place where I was happy. It may not be with the person I expected it with, or in the job or the business or the circumstances, but it was always achieved. But I had to relax and I had to trust. Okay? Control is when we're trying to make things work. We're trying to force it, we're trying to figure it out. And this comes from pain, and that pain is it comes from fear, and that fear is powered by pain. So if we eliminate the pain, there's no more fear, thus we don't need to control, we get to flow. We get to experience, we get to be curious, we get to show up. And so this is why I'm really, really repetitious about the closure technique. This helps you accomplish those kinds of outcomes. Because the closure technique is not a coping tool, it's a resolution tool. It brings closure so you don't have to deal with the pain around that event ever again, because there is no more pain. It's like if you were a remote and you hit a button and that triggers you into pain. Well, what happens if we take the batteries out, or we discharge the batteries entirely? Does it work anymore? No. See? That's what the closure technique does. It takes the batteries, takes the power out of the fear, the pain, the hurt, by discharging it through the natural processes your body already knows how to do. You just got to help your mind create space to make that happen so it can flow. Okay? So this week's challenge for you is to check in and see where you're flowing and where you're controlling, and then try the technique out for free and see what it does for you there. Okay? The link's above or below, depending on where we are on Facebook or on YouTube. Give this a shot. Let me know how it works for you, and we'll talk next week. Thank you, guys.